Say yes to the dress. Atlanta. A dream dress versus reality. Introduction. On a sunny afternoon in Atlanta, the Say Yes to the Dress bridal salon buzzed with excitement as brides-to-be from all walks of life entered the store with hopes of finding their dream dress. Among them was Lucy Carter, a 28-year-old teacher who had spent months imagining the perfect gown for her wedding. With her wedding only a few weeks away, she had one goal in mind: to feel beautiful, confident, and most importantly, like the most special version of herself on her big day. But there was one catch. Lucy's father, David, had placed a strict budget on her dress. As a proud, protective father, David believed that spending more than $2,000 on a wedding dress was excessive, given the financial strain of the wedding and other responsibilities they had. Lucy, on the other hand, had been dreaming of a dress that was the complete opposite of what her dad considered reasonable, one that cost a staggering $7,000. The setup: father's budget versus bride's dream. Lucy arrived at the salon with her best friend Kate and her father, David, who, although supportive of his daughter, had no intention of breaking his self-imposed financial rules. He was a pragmatic man who had always been the voice of reason in the family. For him, practicality was key, especially in an economy where every dollar counted. "Lucy, sweetheart, I know you want to look amazing, but remember, the money we're saving can go toward our future, maybe for a house or some investments," David had warned when they first started planning the wedding. Lucy, however, had spent months scrolling through bridal magazines, Pinterest boards, and social media, dreaming of a fairy tale dress that was the epitome of elegance. She had seen it, the gown she couldn't stop thinking about, a couture wedding dress from a high-end designer that featured intricate lace, luxurious silk, and a sweeping train, everything she'd imagined since she was a little girl. When Lucy walked into the salon and laid eyes on the dress, she knew instantly that it was the one. The light shimmered off the fabric, and her heart raced as she pictured herself walking down the aisle in it. But there was one big problem. This was a $7,000 dress, and her father's limit was far below that amount. The first attempt. Tensions rise. As the bridal consultant led Lucy to a fitting room, her father David was hesitant. He kept glancing at the price tags on other dresses, silently calculating in his mind how much they could afford if they went with one of the more reasonably priced options. But Lucy was undeterred. "I just have to try it on," she said to her father, her voice filled with quiet determination. David crossed his arms over his chest and sighed, but he agreed to let her try it on. "We'll see," he muttered, though his skepticism was clear. In the fitting room, Lucy slipped into the dress, her heart pounding. The fabric was soft against her skin, and she marveled at how the gown hugged her curves in just the right way. She stepped out of the fitting room, the dress flowing out behind her like a bridal fairy tale. Her father's face immediately changed. The lines on his forehead deepened, and he crossed his arms tightly. "Lucy, it looks beautiful on you, but we can't afford this. This is ridiculous." Lucy's face fell, the joy of finding the dress of her dreams suddenly clouded by the reality of her father's disapproval. "Dad, I can't imagine wearing anything else. I feel like a bride in this dress. It's perfect." David shook his head. "We agreed we'd stick to a budget. I can't just throw money away on something like this." The tension in the room was palpable. Lucy could see that her father was genuinely concerned about the financial aspect of the wedding, but at the same time, she couldn't ignore the tug at her heart. She had been imagining this day for so long, and this dress felt like it was meant for her. "I know you want to stick to the budget, but this is my one day to feel like a princess. Can't we stretch things just this once?" Lucy asked, her voice trembling with emotion. David didn't reply immediately. His face softened for a moment, but then the practicality in him reasserted itself. "Lucy, I know you want this, but it's just too much. You'll look beautiful in any dress. Let's be smart about this." The conflict deepens, the challenge of compromise. The rest of the appointment passed in tense silence. Lucy tried on several other dresses that were within her father's budget, but none of them made her feel the way the $7,000 gown did. There were beautiful dresses, no doubt, but none of them captured the magic she felt when she wore that couture creation. As they sat down in the consultation area to discuss next steps, the bride-to-be was at a crossroads. She loved her father dearly and didn't want to disappoint him. But at the same time, she couldn't let go of her dream dress. "Dad, I understand that this is a lot of money, but I've been planning this day for so long. Please, can't we find a way?" Lucy pleaded, her voice now breaking under the weight of the emotion she was feeling. David's face softened, and for a moment, it seemed like he might relent. He looked at his daughter, and his heart ached for her. But then, the reality of their financial situation crept in. "I don't want you to regret this, Lucy. I know it's important to you, but this isn't just about you. It's about the future, and we have to think about what we can afford." The words hung in the air, heavy and final. The emotional decision. Later that evening, as Lucy lay in bed thinking about the dress, the conflict weighed on her heart. She had always prided herself on her relationship with her father, knowing that his decisions were always made with her best interests at heart. But this time, it was different. This time, it felt like her dreams were in direct opposition to his desires for practicality and savings. The next morning, Lucy sat down with her fiancé, Ben, who had been silently observing the tension between her and her father. "Lucy, I can see how much this means to you," Ben said gently, "but I also know you don't want to hurt your dad. Have you thought about what this would mean for him if you went over budget?" Lucy looked at Ben, the man she was about to marry. "I don't know what to do," she confessed, her eyes brimming with tears. "This is the dress I've always dreamed of, but I can't bear the thought of disappointing my dad." Ben took her hand. "You don't have to make the decision alone. Maybe we can find a way to make it work, or maybe we can look at other options that are a compromise." The final showdown, the day of the final fitting arrived. Lucy had decided to take one last step toward compromising with her father. She would present him with a new plan, one that took into account his concerns while still allowing her to have her dream dress. David was surprised when Lucy entered the bridal salon that day with a new sense of calm. She wasn't as eager to argue as before, but there was a quiet determination in her eyes. "Dad," she said softly, "I've thought about what you said, and I want to make this work for both of us." Together, they discussed options. In the end, they came to a solution. Lucy would buy the $7,000 dress, but she would cut costs in other areas of the wedding: smaller venue, fewer guest invitations, and more budget-friendly catering. David agreed, albeit reluctantly, and the two hugged, their understanding and love for each other outweighing any financial worries. As Lucy stood in front of the mirror, wearing the dress she had always dreamed of, she knew she had made the right choice. Her dad was proud of her, Ben was supportive, and most importantly, she felt beautiful.